Today we're going to be making focaccia. I've never made focaccia before, so I'm using a recipe that I found on YouTube. It is Joshua Weissman's recipe, so let's get started.
Yeah.
First thing is we're going to measure out 825 grams of bread flour you're supposed to use. I have all-purpose flour. I think the protein content is pretty much the same thing. And you don't like that I'm using all-purpose flour, my advice to you would be to go fuck yourself. We are also adding 150 grams of whole wheat flour. Stir this until it's fully combined. New bowl, by the way. Handle and everything, fancy as hell. Not to brag. All right, now we're measuring out 830 grams of water. That is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's too hot. That's too hot. It was literally steaming. Oh yeah, that's flying past 100. So 830 degrees of water. Now this is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Whew. We were 17 grams over. I just pulled out exactly 17 grams. And then 7 grams of active dry yeast. I'm using this packet that says it is 7 grams. Perfect. Wow. We're going to give that a bit of a stir. And you might want to let this yeast and water sit for a minute. You don't want to dump a bunch of yeast and water into like 1,000 grams of flour that you just bought. All for that to have the yeast be dead and not actually do anything with your bread. So just make sure that the yeast is actually alive, meaning it's sort of like bubbling at the top a little bit. Anyone who has never followed their dreams before, in a previous video, it was actually my first YouTube video ever. I said I didn't have a stand mixer.
Unfortunately, I don't own a stand mixer.
My dream came true, and I was gifted this stand mixer that I'm going to make some incredible focaccia with. So if anyone ever tells you that you can't do something, look at me getting a stand mixer 2 weeks after I said I didn't have one, as evidence that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And now we're adding all of our water and yeast on low speed. So I've had this going for about 10 minutes now. Now I'm going to add 20 grams of fine sea salt to the stand mixer, and I'm going to mix on medium-low speed for 10 minutes. That's been going for 10 minutes. Next thing we're going to add is 30 grams of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to add that and mix it for another 3 to 5 minutes. Time is up there. That's been 3 to 5 minutes. Olive oil looks combined. So I'm just going to let it sit like that for a second. And I'm going to clean off the top of this. Like, I don't want to get dough all over the attachment portion of this. That doesn't seem right to me. Treat your stand mixer with some respect. Okay, now after you've respected your stand mixer, we're going to take that bowl out, scrape the dough out of this. Alright, so now we have this like pile of almost muddy dough on our countertop, and you're not supposed to flour your countertop. We're going to do this thing called slapping and folding for about 2 minutes until it's a little smoother and not a sticky mess like this. Alright, so I've decided that this is smooth enough, but I'm just going to add this to a greased baking tray. Spread that throughout. I don't have any baking spray, but use it if you have it. Add our dough, just scraping. Got pretty much the whole thing, not bad. And then I'm just going to give this a little nudge to spread it through the whole pan, make it use the whole room. Teach a man how to lead a horse to water. It'll lead a horse to water for a man, and it will fish for a day. But make it drink, and you can lead a horse to water for the lifetime. I think that's what it is. That looks good. And then I'm going to cover this in plastic wrap. I'm going to spread it out like that, like this. Grease it along the top, and then flip-a-rooski O'Flanagan. Put this in the fridge for 48 hours, and then I will see you in 48 hours.
A few moments later.
That's what it looks like. We're going to remove this. Going to be really careful to remove it. Cover this in olive oil. Every portion of the baking sheet looks good. Now we're gonna sort of scrape it upside down as to not remove any of those bubbles. All right, you know what? I'm happy with that. Being careful not to like push any air out of it. That's good. Cover the top of this with another baking tray, and then we're going to wrap this in plastic wrap. Covering this way. That's what we have right now. And they're gonna sit like this for 2 to 3 hours, room temperature. Been 3 hours. Here is our friend, Mr. Focaccia. Oven's been preheating to 500 degrees, so we're gonna unwrap this, see what it looks like, and then get it prepared to throw it into the oven. First off, this smells incredible. I can already smell the bread or the dough. Look at the bubbles on the top. It feels really gassy now, which is what we were going for. We're going to top this with a little bit more olive oil, rosemary, and then we'll do salt and pepper as well. Carefully spread that around. And of all the points that I could have possibly lost audio, this is obviously the worst, but here is the finished product. This bread was honestly incredible. You can see the airiness inside of it, sort of like how those bubbles formed. And this is just me trying the bread, taking a look at it here. Obviously giving it a little squeeze, a little really crispy on the top, but then there was like a nice softness on the inside. That was the first bite. As you can see right here, I was very impressed with my work. Really happy with the way this came out. I'm going to use this to make like sandwiches for the rest of the week. Give it to my friends. Hopefully they love it as much as I did. Actually, I know they will. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this.